Welcome everyone to this week's edition of 5RoundMMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host Albert Cita. Got a lot to talk about this week. We are a week behind in the events of World Wrestling Entertainment, so we'll talk about the Royal Rumble. We'll have our reactions, star ratings, how angry I was last Sunday. We'll talk about, we're going to recap, have our reactions to Alistair Overeem versus Alexander Volkov, that big fight night that happened this past weekend as well. We're going to preview UFC 258, Kamal Usman versus Gilbert Burns, big time welterweight matchup here. And we're also going to talk about and examine the working relationship now between New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW. Ooh. Wow. Big time stuff. Marked out for sure last Wednesday. Albert, see, before we get started with this week's show update, this coming week is Valentine's Day. So
it's all about the kids.
All
right. I made it very clear that the only Valentine's going on is with the kids.
Yeah.
So the kids are gonna get cookies and decorate cookies, and
I like how you work, man. You're like, I like how that's like
I don't. That's
like next level. Like we're all living in 2021. Albert Cita's living in 2071.
You gotta think ahead. But yeah, it's all for the kid. Every holiday now is for the kids. St. Patrick's Day, it's for the kids.
I love how you just spun that. Your anniversary, it's for the kids.
It's for the kids.
That's I think a lot of guys should take note. I remember when we used to work a long time ago in youth sports, we had all the referees, a lot of cool guys, just making money on the side, refereeing, adult basketball where we're keeping score and stuff like that. And at one particular Sunday, it was Mother's Day, and we were keeping score. And one of my old coworkers asked one of the referees, "Oh, so what are you getting your wife for Mother's Day?" Mm-hmm. He's like, "Nothing. She's not my mom." He's like,
hey, that's a fact. That's a fact.
I can maybe text one of my kids, see what they're getting, but that's not my mama. So, as Albert Cita kind of adopted that kind of mindset, right? That's all for it's all for the kids. Okay. So before we get started, I want to thank you all for listening, whether it be on Podomatic, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, we're available. And also, if you're watching the YouTube feed, I want to thank you all for taking the time, about half an hour. This episode might go a little long because we got a lot to talk about, especially Albert and I are very long-winded when it comes to professional wrestling because it's something we've watched as kids for a very long time. We tend to kind of break down the bookings and stuff like that. We don't spend too much time on the dirt sheets. We're always kind of reactionary. At least on this show, I kind of want it to be like we don't want to go see what's going on in the dirt sheets. What's going on in front of the camera, right?
Yeah.
That's what we can react to. It's a TV show, entertainment. It's kind of like any other TV show. So we'll probably be long on that too. But again, I just want to thank you all for listening here. We're also going to have, but we're talking about going live a couple times, Albert, right?
Yeah. So we did a little experiment, and we did a random Twitch thing for the Rumble, and it was kind of fun. So maybe we might play with that. We made a Twitch account. There's nothing there. Yeah. You can go ahead and follow it and like it, or
at FiveRoundMMA Twitch.
But we might dabble.
Yeah, but keep an eye out for an announcement for that one. When we do go live, we'll probably do some watch parties, UFC Fight Nights, AEW.
You guys need to just log in and watch wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean,
talk to us. Talk with us.
If you think we mark out on this show, wait until you see us watching.
What has actually happened. Our reactionary videos. So yeah, please keep an eye out for that stuff. And the only way to keep an eye out for that announcement is to make sure to follow us on social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all at FiveRoundMMA. It's FIVE Round MMA. So Albert Cita, let's get started with round number 1 here. Timer is started. So when we recorded last week's show, it was before the Royal Rumble event. Now we have the Royal Rumble plus Raw, NXT, SmackDown to kind of digest. Here, we'll start with the actual Royal Rumble event itself. As a whole, well, we do the Meltzer rating system here. Out of 5 stars, how many stars would you give the event as a whole?
As a whole, I would say 3.5.
That's my exact score too. Yeah.
I really wanted to give it a solid 4, but the men's kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah. What were some of the highlights other than the?
So the biggest highlight for me was Bianca Belair winning.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan when they push the right star at the right time. And I think for Bianca Belair, it's just one of those things where it just aligned perfectly that you got to give that girl a push. It's like they lost out on the Daniel Bryan thing, but at least they got it right this time with Bianca Belair. I think she has the right everything going on, and it was the perfect person to win. And another highlight, I can't believe I'm saying this, the big dog had a good match.
Why are you so surprised about that?
Man,
you didn't believe that.
Hey, I liked it. Even though they botched up the little handcuff spot, it was a really good match. I was entertained, which is the only thing that really matters when it comes to pro wrestling. Are you entertained?
Yes.
I was entertained that whole match. A little bit lackluster was maybe everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really disappointed in the McIntyre versus Goldberg match.
Yeah.
It was really awkward, especially the ending thing. Like, I don't understand, like, what that was, like, the weird congratulatory, like, hugging and, like,
and
it was just strange.
You know what's funny? I think it started off right. Like, I feel like the story was being told the right way right off the bat. But I almost feel like when Goldberg, or was it Drew McIntyre that went through the thing, or was it Goldberg?
I don't remember, but
whatever it was
one of them.
It had been a quick. I think Drew McIntyre should have quick finished Goldberg.
Yeah, it's like less than 5
because
minutes.
then you pass the torch 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Goldberg's only known for two things: his streak and finishing people fast.
Yeah.
So come on.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, I think, for sure too. As a whole, it's really, especially the men's and women's Royal Rumble match. Like, it's really a contrast between an up and comer and a star who deserves it. On the women's side, Bianca Belair looking toward the future, and then you got this dude Edge who came back, got hurt, and now he's winning it. So I really don't understand like that booking. And for all these people who kind of came back and said, oh, he had it like cut short from him, his career, his neck injury. I'm sorry, did he not accomplish a lot when he was an active wrestler?
He retired as the champ, technically.
So it's like, oh, he never got his opportunity to say goodbye. Well, you know, a lot of people haven't do that, and like for him to come back and like I just don't.
Out of the Brood, he was the one that emerged from there. And to tell you the truth, I like Gangrel more than the other two, and I like Christian more than I like Edge.
Yeah, I've always been a
Edge
Christian
is the one
mark.
that came out of it. So
yeah, I've always been a bigger Christian mark than Edge. And to have him go like to Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, like he's just some like, who's Edge gonna pick? Like, and then nobody asked for it.
Yeah,
but yet we're getting it.
Yeah, and then the other annoying thing is they still can't get it right. So it's like, okay, Daniel Bryan doesn't even enter the Royal Rumble, the one where he's white hot.
Yeah. He
doesn't win the Royal Rumble we think he's going to win.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just give him the damn Royal Rumble win.
Yeah.
Do they not have the ear on the okay, I get what they're trying to do with Edge.
What are they trying to do with Edge?
They're just trying to reminisce to back to the height of WWE, and I think they're just trying.
He wasn't even part of the height of the WWE. He's
the only wrestler you can put in there.
Oh my! I'd rather see Triple H win it than this guy.
But I think if Daniel Bryan would have won it, it would have made even bigger news, and I think it would have added more momentum going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because again, I doubt that we're going to get Roman Reigns versus The Rock this year.
Oh no, of course not.
So the only other thing that makes sense to me when if we follow his story and him being the head of the table, come on, underlining Daniel Bryan is the head of the table of WWE.
Yeah.
Let's keep it. He out of everybody, he has the most respect in the back, most respect as far as for fans.
Yeah.
He had one of the biggest pushes ever. You got. Technically, if you want to be head of the table, you beat someone like that.
He's on the reality show at the Bellas,
yeah, exactly.
Divas, right?
So I just think it would have. If you want to keep following this story of head of the table, I think Daniel Bryan would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, they still can do it, but it just to me it would have meant more. If going off a Royal Rumble win, you put Daniel Bryan back up there, and then you do the storyline with Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So I think for both of us,
and Daniel Bryan has history with Kevin Owens. So if you could have been like, well, how do you replace Kevin Owens with Daniel Bryan? It's real easily. They have history together. They grew up together. They could have done a whole angle of like, you know, Roman, you don't know how it is with me and Kevin, the way we came up in the business.
Yeah.
You know, you came with a silver spoon. We had to go. You know, they could have done so much routes if they would have had Daniel Bryan win.
Yeah. Real quick too. I think Meltzer gave like the men's Royal Rumble match like a 4-star rating. I think, or he got it pretty high. But like it was funny. Like right before that, he even leaked that it was primarily booked by Adam Pearce, which is why it was such a good. Like I really don't know how you book a good Royal Rumble match. I can't even
remember good spots in the men's Royal Rumble.
That's what I don't understand. Like what
I had a more emotional attachment to the women's Royal Rumble than I did for the men's.
Yeah, well, because maybe I'm just completely ignorant to the fact, and people could comment. So, what makes a booking good in a Royal Rumble match, and what makes it bad? Like, they all go over the top rope, right? And it's the fact that Edge was there for 60 minutes that makes it good, and he eliminated 3 people and did really nothing.
And like always, he was outside of the Rumble for how long? Randy Orton was out of the Rumble for how long?
And that's a good storytelling. So, and like I don't know, I just let me know what you think. What makes it what's a good booking?
We got Strowman coming now and
at 30. Yeah. So I guess but you can kind of tell like
there was just like the women's had so much good stuff. Like Rhea Ripley, who is a fan favorite, toss out the most girls in the thing. And you're like, dude, she could probably win it. But then at the same time, you got favorites out there like Charlotte, who just can't lose. You know what I'm saying? There was so much actually going on in the women's one that made you invested. There was nothing in the guys, nothing. Like even the surprise entrances were lackluster.
Well, I mean, it's your Hurricane
like,
Mark
or Carlitos.
Yeah, which is like again,
and he didn't even spit the apple.
Yeah.
At least spit the apple.
Yeah, so I think Dave Meltzer tends to do that on purpose sometimes when
just to rile up the people,
and just to also like wrestling like anything else. There's a lot of snobs in the community. Like, if you're for music or restaurants, you never heard of this restaurant, you never heard of this band. Some expert you are. You never heard of Adam Pearce before. Some expert you are, Albert. You never started. See. Like when you get a Adam Pearce and not a WWE mind, look at what happens. It's great, right? So Meltzer always tries to knock WWE no matter what. But the fact that this is like a great Royal Rumble, I mean, again, subpar for me, I thought for sure. But we'll talk more about the WWE plans next. Yes,
I just want to comment. I am a beer snob.
You're a beer snob?
I'm a huge beer snob.
Wow.
Don't even come at me with some Miller Lite, Coors Light bullshit. I'm a big beer snob.
We're going to explore that in a future episode. So that's it for round number 1. We might go a little long here, but the next round we're going to come up and talk about what the WWE plans are for WrestleMania now that we have the both winners, and they're kind of stretching out what they're going to do for which each winner is going to pick for their title challenger. So don't go anywhere. We're coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 2. So now that the road to WrestleMania has officially begun, let's talk about what you think or what should be done with the Royal Rumble winners. Edge this past week went to Raw, challenged stared down Drew McIntyre. Went to NXT, stared down Finn Balor. We all know he's not going to challenge Finn Balor.
Come on.
And he went to the big dog's house and tried to disrespect Roman Reigns and stared down Roman Reigns to make it seem, who's Edge going to pick for the title? Like anybody really cares. I'm not an Edge mark at all. I didn't like that guy in the Brood. I didn't like him during the Ruthless Aggression era. I didn't like Rated R Superstar. I don't like him now. I didn't like him then. I don't like him now. I don't get it. I don't see anything about him other than he was like a fan growing up. I still no appeal to the guy whatsoever. But that's just me. I don't know. So for me to get excited last year when he came back, the biggest pop ever was the Edge return. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't need it. I definitely didn't need him winning now. I see no sense at all. Like I said, I'd rather see Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, give it to Shinsuke again and give Shinsuke a proper run this time. I would even give it to Braun and Braun versus something like that than Edge. The only kind of solace I take from this is that Edge won the Royal Rumble and he's gonna be in WrestleMania when it's half capacity because of COVID. Because I doubt if it was full capacity, who cares? Nobody I popped more for the Hardy Boys than I ever did for Edge and Christian. Well, Christian, yeah, but not Edge so much. So that's just I'm going to be super biased when it comes to Edge. I never liked the guy at all as a wrestler. I'm sure Adam Copeland's a great guy. Again, I'm sure Adam Copeland's a really nice guy, but as a character,
great father,
yeah, great
husband.
Yeah, great. But as a wrestler, Edge, the character I see on TV, never liked him at all. So that's okay. We're not challenged again. So, but I gotta say, you know what? I don't think he's worthy of Roman Reigns, so give him Drew McIntyre. That's my opinion. Because Paul Heyman had a promo.
Yeah.
He said, we all know the main event's going to be Roman Reigns. So either challenge Roman Reigns and that's it, or go to Raw. And to me, I don't see the appeal of Roman Reigns versus Edge as main event for WrestleMania.
First off, how do you not know about living on the edge? Come on, Alex.
What is that?
That was his gimmick. Come on.
I don't know what that.
Anyways, I'm leaning towards Drew McIntyre, but I don't know how Drew McIntyre can't be the champion when you get to WrestleMania, because how do you pivot from the old Randy Orton thing? I know Randy Orton had a beef with Bray Wyatt and they had a little story going on.
Yeah.
But you never concluded the Edge story, technically. And Royal Rumble, the whole main story around it was still Edge and Randy Orton.
So are you thinking that somehow Orton gets the belt on him?
Somehow, like, I feel like either you have to throw in Orton into this mix, or Orton wins the belt and then he challenges Orton.
Yeah.
Because if we go to Drew McIntyre, you got two faces going against each other, and two big faces, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You got supposedly what WWE considers the big fan favorite in Edge, and then their big face, which is Drew McIntyre. So that makes absolutely no sense. So if it is that route, there has to be some kind of pivot that has to take place.
Can you imagine? We're in 2021 and we're talking about WrestleMania match with Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Edge. Talk about, like, granted, Randy Orton's like the steady, consummate professional, been there, done that. But dude, we're in 2021 and we're
talking about Edge
and Randy Orton, in the main event title picture.
I know. So I would throw this wrench in there. Brock Lesnar lost to Drew McIntyre last year's WrestleMania. When Vince gets scared, he digs into his pockets and brings out Hogan, Brock Lesnar, The Rock, anyone that he thinks is a needle mover, John Cena. So I think maybe Brock's coming back. Brock's going to challenge Drew McIntyre to run it back again, and that leaves only the big dog and Edge. So I think it's going to, like it or not, I think it's going to be Edge and Roman Reigns, and they're just going to steal my story of trying to do the whole thing about Daniel Bryan being this, uncrowned real head of the table, and they're just going to put that on. They're trying to force it on Edge and be like, no, look, you're going to start seeing a bunch of reminiscing of Edge's career and how he led the company, and that
he was the face of the company.
Yeah, all this stuff leading up.
Sold all the merch. Was the biggest draw in history.
Yeah. And so they're just. I think it's going to be Edge versus Roman Reigns.
Why are they going to waste the big dog's time like that for, man?
Because The Rock ain't doing WrestleMania this year. That's why.
The big dog, man. Oh, where's like Bray Wyatt? Put Bray Wyatt in this. Like,
Bray Wyatt still got the whole thing with Randy Orton, and supposedly he's been burned alive, and we don't know where he's at. So I'm saying, like, there's no way. I don't see anybody else that fits into that.
What a waste, man.
I agree with that. That's what that makes sense to me.
Women's.
Bianca Belair.
It has to be Sasha Banks, right? Has to be Sasha Banks.
I mean, but then again, if you think story-wise, we haven't figured out, we haven't concluded Bayley and Sasha.
Yeah.
And
I think either way,
it might. I think it's going to be Charlotte, because Charlotte is the other champion, right?
No, Asuka is.
Asuka is, right?
But they're not doing anything with her. They just have her pair with Charlotte.
So you know what? Maybe Charlotte takes it off Asuka, and then Bianca Belair versus Charlotte, and it makes sense because Charlotte can be like, oh, you came from NXT, I did too, but I came as a champion. There's some meat in there. If you do Bianca Belair versus Charlotte, but you need Asuka to drop the belt.
But then you got Charlotte versus Lacey Evans going on with her dad for some reason. So
that's right.
They got a lot of moving parts. Like, what I hate, like nowadays.
But see, they put themselves in this corner for not using Asuka.
They do.
They were putting her in a ridiculous tag team with Charlotte, and then winning the belts, which made no sense.
Yeah, for me, I always go back to WrestleMania. Was it 5? Mm-hmm. When the Mega Powers exploded?
Oh, yeah.
That was a year-long story that they built throughout, that started in WrestleMania 4 and exploded at WrestleMania 5, right? And even though we know who the winners are come January, but come April, it could be completely different. And I almost miss, like, this long-term. I want to see a story line. Like you said, what if, like, Bayley and all of a sudden, like, it's just like these little middle gaps, the storylines are boring and pointless to have this, like.
Are you telling me WWE doesn't know how to climax?
Yes, in all certain terms, yeah. So I almost like, can I just get one? And like when people say that's long-term booking, like, no, they just circled back around and like, because that kind of makes sense. Like, Albert, you and I both studied story, and how to write for television and film and stuff like that. So we know like what it takes to develop a story. As opposed to, hey, let's scramble back and let's just go back and
took several classes.
It makes sense. Like we'll just connect the dots somehow. But Like you said, it would have been cool to see some sort of like plan, like Randy Orton versus Edge. Obviously, it's not really. It wasn't a year-long story. Like they had 2 matches that stopped, and all of a sudden they went back. That's not like what long-term planning is.
Yeah.
That's not like a storyline for it. That's not.
You know what's long-term is what Kenny Omega's doing. That's long-term. Him and with him and Ibushi's doing. Oh, dude, I don't even want to think about it right now because I'm gonna start getting some hot sweats in front of the camera.
You gotta hold it because
I know
the next round we're gonna talk about it.
And then the fact that what happened last AEW. Oh man,
that's a
dude,
good,
I like the slow burn.
Good ending point here. We're gonna talk about that next. Don't go anywhere.
5-round MMA.
All right, welcome back. Now we're gonna still talk about professional wrestling, but we're gonna talk about the big news. AEW. They had their Beach Break event right this past week. Real quick, do you like them having these like these special, like we had Winters coming not that long ago and Beach Break and free kind of bigger events on TNT?
Yeah, because AEW still is under the pay-per-view model. Mm-hmm. In no way am I spending $40 to $50 a month during this pandemic on wrestling. I just can't justify it. I can't do it. But every other month, every 2 months, I could justify a pay-per-view. But you need the build-up to lead to somewhere to get to somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly fine them having these free events that are a little bit more, I guess, bigger than a regular Dynamite show,
but lesser than a pay-per-view.
Exactly. Yeah. Because out there, like I said, I think UFC needs to check themselves if they think someone's going to pay $70 every month for a show.
Yeah. Like I do, like, my only really criticism of AEW is just Cody Rhodes. Other than that, I think they're good. Like Tony Khan's funny. I think he's doing what we all would do if we were given our own wrestling company.
Day one, I'm on there.
We would book ourselves too.
Yeah.
Just took up,
I'm bearing fools left and right.
Yeah,
day
exactly.
one.
So you can't blame them for that. Anybody who says otherwise, they're lying. But okay, anyway, so AEW started earlier this year. Kenny Omega going on Impact Wrestling, reforming the Elite # Bullet Club. Call it what you want. We're saying, what are they going to do with New Japan? Tama Tonga, Jay White, the Guerrillas of Destiny. All of them are saying, nah, we're the real Bullet Club. Fake, what's it called? A bootleg club.
The bootleg club.
Bullet Club for life. This is where it's at. Don't believe them. They're going back and forth on social media. Then all of a sudden, the biggest drop in forever happens on Wednesday in the Beach Break. Kenta comes and destroys Jon Moxley from New Japan. Comes out wearing a Bullet Club design, Go to Sleep Club t-shirt, because if you guys don't know, Jon Moxley has been the absentee United States IWGP United States champion. Hasn't defended it. Not his fault because of travel restrictions because of COVID, but Kenta owns the right to challenge for that title. He's like, no, I'm tired of Jon Moxley not coming. Well, Jon Moxley did go to Japan and they kind of faced off, and then Kenta responded with coming to Orlando or Tampa, wherever they're, or Jacksonville. and attacked Moxley. This opens the door. It's been confirmed by Dave Meltzer that New Japan and AEW will be working together, along with Impact Wrestling. And then now you got Finn Balor, I think, tagging all of the old Bullet Club members on social media. So, Albert, I don't know what's going on here. Can you just try and surmise this for me? Because my head exploded on Wednesday.
We're getting the slow burn. You know what's funny? As a fan, I think it's natural to feel frustration at first.
Yeah.
Knowing the matchups that you can possibly see and the storylines you could possibly see. But then, like, you have to be realistic. Like, if you respect the art, you gotta actually, like, present it. You can't right off the bat. If they would have done right off the bat a new Bullet Club and like try the whole, it's all about the long slow burn. There's going to be a payoff.
Yeah. What's the payoff?
I refuse to believe Kenny's not going to give us a huge payoff. What all this is building, and then I get the frustration because I feel the frustration when people be like, "Why don't we just see the big matchups already? Why don't we want to see this and that?"
Yeah.
I get it, and I'm just as frustrated as any fan that I want to see it. But you got to understand, it's about the payoff, and I feel the water is now starting to warm up.
Yeah,
it's not boiling yet, but we're warming it up, and I love it now. The Kenta is literally the link between everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, before I go to sleep, this is the only thing I pray about, Alex, is seeing a title card headlined by Kenny Omega and Ibushi. 4 belts on the line. You know, Kenny Omega has the TNA, the Impact Championship, and the AEW Championship. Kenta has the Intercontinental and the heavyweight. And all the belts are on the line. I mean, every night I just pray to the wrestling gods that I'm gonna see that this is what it's gonna lead up to.
Yeah.
But man, it's funny. I'm very interested in everything that's happening. It feels like Impact is kind of like riding the roller coaster, but to me they're missing it. I think every time I go watch Impact, they don't give it to me, and I feel like they need to take this opportunity of this big storyline and really present their product, and I think they're failing.
Yeah, well, that's not their fault, really. I mean, Rich Swann's a hell of a worker, but I don't really see championship like this is a guy you want to have your like carry your title and for your company. But like, I just don't see it. And I'm like, but Moose, that guy, I think
Moose,
yeah. And then, but they have a weird mix of like, I think they really need to like, look hard and say, okay, who's the wrestlers here that we can really push and like.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if Ken Shamrock can win the Impact Championship, and you give me Ken Shamrock versus Kenny Omega, oh man, you know I'm buying.
Totally believable.
Yeah. And keep in mind, there's layers to that because again, it's widely known that if Kenny Omega wasn't going to be a wrestler, he wanted to be an MMA fighter. So there's a story there with Ken Shamrock, who was a legit MMA fighter.
Well, obviously, yeah. So obviously too, we would be remiss not to talk about the return of Jay White after losing to Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom. Came back with an impact, no pun intended here. But he and the Guerrillas of Destiny are forming a 6-man tag to challenge for the New Japan Openweight 6-man tag. So they're saying, hey, we're the real Bullet Club. Woo. So you got that 3-man tag against, do you maybe possibly put Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers together against those 3, or the Young Bucks and somebody else? You know, so you have that, like this whole thing of like the real Bullet Club, the fake Bullet Club. I know it's all like just saying, they got Finn Balor overhead saying everybody.
If we go into
this is too much to talk about.
If we're going to that fantasy booking route, I know what Marty Scurll did was wrong and whatever, but we're talking fantasy booking. If they can get Marty Scurll back, and you put him in with the Young Bucks. Imagine that, the Young Bucks, Marty Scurll versus the Gorilla of Destiny and Jay White. 3-on-3.
I think even like I think when Finn Balor tagged everybody, I think he left out Adam Cole, and Adam Cole like responded with a photo of him in the Bullet Club shirt. So it's like it's just too much to handle right now. Obviously, WWE's not going to be involved in it, but I'm pretty sure they can have like slight nods like that.
I hope this is just in my fantasy head that they do this mega pay-per-view, do crazy numbers. That WWE is like, all right,
we got to work together.
We work together. Oh man,
it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. But wow, if they could get to there.
Real quick though, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. It takes 3 companies working together just to be a blimp on the radar of WWE. And we all know, as much as we want to talk crap about the storytelling and stuff like that,
they are the top dogs.
They were just given $1 billion to have their content streamed on another company's platform. So at the end of the day, man, it's all about dollars, and you're not gonna destroy what Vince McMahon spent a lifetime creating with one storyline, even though how awesome it is. So it's gonna be great, I think. But what AEW is the alternative. It's what we wanted to watch. It's a good mixture. Will it become that level of WWE? I don't know. But this is definitely giving you this. Like I said, I was super bummed and pissed about Edge winning the Royal Rumble, and then come Wednesday, I see Kenta roll out. I was in a good mood again. So exactly what it's doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and I'm hyped. I'm psyched, and like I said, something to get my fix. Sometimes I gotta watch New Japan to get my fix.
And you best believe I want to get that go to sleep T-shirt.
Exactly. That's it for round number 3. Where we're done talking about professional wrestling. I told you guys we're a little longer here, but we're gonna switch gears now. Talk about the world of mixed martial arts. We have to because it's in our name. It's how we got started. Was MMA. We're gonna close up the show with MMA talk. So don't go anywhere.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. We are now in the championship rounds. We're switching gears to mixed martial arts here. Sorry for you MMA fans here. Got to sit through some wrestling for us here. But I give you fair warning when we first
You
started
can
the
just
show.
scrub through it.
Yeah. So now we're going to recap Alistair Overeem versus Alexander Volkov UFC Fight Night at the Egg Pick Center that took place this past weekend here. Overall, this card was pretty good, at least the last two fights. Main event. Scroll down a little bit, Albert, on this one. I think I wanted to talk about. We'll go from the bottom to the top here on Diego Ferreira versus Benel Darnoush. We'll start with that match here because that's a big time lightweight matchup here. Two guys who are ranked. Who are trying to get higher rank in the lightweight division. It was definitely a scrap. Super entertaining fight. I think when people talk about like the lightweight division being a deep division, it's because of guys like this. Diego Ferreira, he beat Anthony Pettis. Darnoush is no joke at all. So like it's top heavy when it comes terms to big names at the top. Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier. Those guys are the stars of the division, but the ones who make up the backbone of it are these guys for here.
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say like I thought this matchup made perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
I like you said, I think it's very top heavy.
In terms of like star power.
Yeah, star power. And this was a good way to, I guess, launch somebody.
Yeah.
Just because like they both had really good records. They had a good winning streak. You had what's his name being Anthony Pettis, like you said. I love the matchup.
Yeah.
I know there was a little bit of
Darnoush called out Dana White and John Shelby because he's like, why are we fighting each other? We're like 8-9 or we're ranked to each other.
But look at they were both in a hot streak.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think one has to like pass the other. I mean, look in the middleweight division when Buckley fought the guy that just be
Jacare?
Jacare. What's his name?
Holland.
There we go. When they fought each other, it's to me it's similar. Where you have these guys that have a lot of potential, and you kind of have to figure out which one is going to get the bigger push, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that's the way I took it.
Yeah.
Now it looks like who we're going to give the bigger push to.
Yeah. I do think now this matchup was obviously it was made because Darnoush did beat Ferreira before, so he's like 1-0. But it's probably why he's like, why am I fighting the guy again? But also too, I think
then he lost. Oh, but then look, what you're gonna see again. We talked about story earlier.
Yeah,
it was a split decision.
Yeah,
so these guys can meet again as long as they continue to win.
Yeah,
and then on the third fight, it's gonna be it's gonna be a good. Tell me that's not more of a pay-per-view fight when they fight the third time.
Yeah, well, for sure. Especially if Fedor Deal bounces back and wins again, I think that this fight was a victim of Conor McGregor not making his decision. It's like, hey, we can't give these guys a top 5 fighter because we don't know what top 5 fighter we need to give Conor McGregor. And then when McGregor came back and agreed to Poirier, okay, then now we can kind of figure everything else out. But big win for Darnoush, and shout out to him for giving a shout out to the UFC to force the UFC to sign his training partner. That was kind of cool, man. He's like, hey, he asked him, who do you want to fight next?
Always hook up the homies.
Exactly. So, other on the main card too, Clay Guida hopefully retires Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson is now, I think, like 17-17 overall, or something like that, or like 19-17. Is that his record?
His official record is 19 wins with 17 losses.
And this guy's been in the UFC forever, right?
This is his fourth loss, like his fourth straight loss. So he's in the Dan Hardy section now.
He should have been gone a long time ago. I mean, dude, like, but he's been in the UFC forever. But like that's like a record you see on the local like.
And I think this is what the matchup was, to tell you the truth. I think like again, I wish they would just straight up say it and not like hide it, try and say like we're trying to make a good fight. I felt this literally was like one of you guys is gonna get let go and the other guy is gonna live another day.
Yeah.
There's no way they can. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, before this, Clay Guida had 2 losses against 2 really big. I mean, it was Bobby Green and Jim Miller.
Yeah.
So that's nothing to be disappointed. But they've been around so long that I felt like that's what clearly was. Either one was going to continue fighting until you lose, or have another hope, and then one, peace out, bro. But I don't know why they don't just make it public. To me, it would add more to the matchup.
Again, Clay, we did kind of stick with the theme of the night and called out Dana White and Sean Shelby and said, "Hey, man, can I get somebody else now?" Like I guess like you said, he fought Bobby Green, who's a veteran of the sport. Before that, Jim Miller, veteran of the sport. I think he fought BJ Penn not that long ago, a true veteran. Michael Johnson's been around for a long time. Clay would say, "Hey, man, can I get like a young guy up and coming? I want to really challenge myself here." So let's see if the UFC grants him his wishes for his next time around. Here, co-main event: Cody Sanghagen should be arrested for assault. Or attempted murder for Frankie Edgar. One of the most nastiest, beautifully landed knees I've ever seen.
I think that's the winner of this year.
Knockout. It's definitely. It's got has to be definitely at the top of the mountain right now.
I am not a Frankie Edgar fan, and if you watch previous episode,
going way back,
I have never really enjoyed Frankie Edgar, but I was legit like stunned, concerned, like, hey, wow. Yeah. What a knockout.
I mean, that statement alone, that knockout is worth a note. Sanghagen is number one contender for sure in the
bantamweight division, which is just filled with freaking animals. But it's crazy because, like, I feel like there's a little, like, clog there, too, in the bantamweight division. Yeah. I think even though he got that wonderful knockout. I mean, what about Sterling? Amaj Sterling?
Yeah.
He's still there. I mean, there's still a lot of people in this bantamweight division that is in the mix.
Yeah.
And then we're just kind of waiting.
Yeah. And crazy that Frank Edgar was once the lightweight champion at 155. Gosh. Doubled down at 145. Now he's at 135. But at 38 years of age, Albert, I mean,
I think
he got knocked out by a guy almost 10 years his senior in Sandhagen. What's next for Frankie? I mean, does he just go back and obviously I don't think he's in a title shot for any division now.
No, I think that was the whole point of him moving all the way down to bantamweight was getting that last I guess title run on it. And prior to Corey, it kind of looked like he was going to get there somehow. But now I think the door has closed on him. He tried it in 3 different weight classes. He had a legacy of a career, but I think this is it, man.
He's a Hall of Famer for sure.
Because the only thing I see him fighting is another young guy, and I don't know if it's even worth it.
Yeah.
He already stamped his legacy. I think for these type of fighters, it's title or bust, and it was a bust.
Yeah. Now it's like, okay, do you want to go back and maybe get me those, big time matchups now where it's like name versus name guys, or what?
Right now UFC is so stacked in any division. Like he can go back up to 145, 155. Do you want to do that? There's nothing but sharks there.
Yeah.
You want to go to 125? I don't even know if he wants to even drain himself that much. I mean, I look at where he can go and I just don't see it.
Yeah, it seems like Frankie's very proud and I don't think he's gonna quit anytime soon. I think even if he were to get released by the UFC, I think he would go somewhere else.
I just hate to see like Anderson Silva.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be
Chuck Liddell. Yeah. You don't think he's gonna be?
I don't think he'll be that bad. I hope not. I hope not.
I get Corey is. I mean, he's way up there.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Sometimes it only takes that one knockout to kind of send you the other way around.
Yeah, so we'll see.
And I mean, Frank Edgar's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
so.
It happens, man. Like Father Time is undefeated. So, main event, real quick. Also, Overeem, Alexander Volkov, Drago. Literally, if he dies, he dies. Oh my! He completely just mashed and bloodied the face of Alistair Overeem, who looked almost like when Alistair Overeem shells up like that. I know it's part of his strategy, but it doesn't look good visually, does it?
No,
it looks like just
especially
Drago,
when it looks like he runs a little bit.
Yeah. But Drago, man, he was just a shark. Completely just he almost he knew he had it and I'm just going to wait for my opportune time. And it was just disgusting when he did it over his face.
Again, if you're I always like to reference wrestling, and it was pretty much also Overeem putting one guy over one last time.
Yeah. And
I mean, he had a awesome career. He legit.
He's gonna fight. He's still gonna fight. Still,
I don't think he should.
That title run is over now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He legit had a title run in him. He
did.
surprised a lot of people by his last 2 wins, and it looked like he could probably get one more crack at it, but that's it. But see, again, when I think of also Overeem, Frank Yeager, like these type of guys, it's championship or bust. Like I just don't see Ulster just fighting just to be a gatekeeper. Like I don't know, like you don't have to. Like I get it. Like I understand. I mean, the pride, but like I don't know, these type of guys, you kind of already put them in a big pedestal because of their career. Like, what is there? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
like,
and
especially you gotta let it go.
There's really no other like attraction heavyweights who aren't currently fighting for the title that he could he could be up against, right? It's either he's gonna fight a really down and out heavyweight or these up and comers heavyweight, right? Because there's no like who else. What's another heavyweight?
But I'll tell you what though, Mike Tyson does have something going with this Legacy League.
Yeah,
because I wouldn't mind seeing also Overeem versus Mark Hunt.
Like just boxing.
Like boxing,
again?
grappling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like this is when I see stuff like this, I go back to that.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I mean, even though I think Frankie Yeager will probably win easily, put him against Greg Maynard again, bro.
This nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
But
like I think that's where these legacy thing, because like if obviously Overeem looks incredible as far as like the way he's fit, whatever. But I don't think he can hang with these guys no more.
Oh, no, obviously.
But I would love to see him like I said, like him versus Mark Hunt makes
well,
sense.
I mean, he almost had Stipe a little bit, but then you got to have guys like Volkov. You can't beat him. We saw what Ngannou did to him.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind J. Diaz versus Overeem again.
Shoot,
I wouldn't mind Brock versus Overeem again.
Just so you can knock him out again.
Cain Velasquez versus Overeem. I'm telling you, you gotta create this legacy league.
Yeah,
and let it just put him, or I don't know. I just feel like that's the route if you want to keep fighting.
Yeah.
But
so real quick, we got Volkov here, but he does have a loss to Curtis Blades.
Yeah,
who's out there? Do you maybe run that back, or do you have him wait for? Obviously, when John Jones comes, John doesn't get the title shot.
There's so much that has to be done in a lot of the weight divisions, heavyweight being one of them. There's a heavyweight matchup coming up, and then you got John Jones already
just
waiting in the wings. We don't know how that fight's going to play out, that there might have to be another rematch. Or there's a lot of stuff up there that you got to fight Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
And if he beats Curtis Blades, then he's clearly the next guy up after John Jones.
But if you're Curtis Blades, I already beat this fool. Like, do you take that fight though?
Well, what else are you gonna do? It's to me like, okay, Curtis Blades lost to Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
So he has to technically. I mean, if Francis, if Francis wins,
he has to get. That makes sense.
So they have to fight. It only makes sense to me. They gotta fight each other.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it for round number 4. Man. Speedy recovery to Frank Yeager. Speedy recovery to Alice Overeem. Wow. Good fight for Fight Night, right? I thought it was a good card.
It's funny. Whenever these fight cards that don't really like hit the mark, I guess, as far as buzz, always turn out pretty good.
Yeah. It's always the one you least suspect.
Yeah.
Right? All right, we got one more round coming up here. We're going to preview UFC 258. Big time welterweight championship fight, which should be a good one. Do not go anywhere. We're coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back, 5th and final round. Sorry for this long show here, but hope you guys are enjoying it. UFC 258 takes place Saturday, February 13th at the Apex Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Main evented welterweight matchup, big time matchup here. Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns on the main event. What else is on this card, Albert? You're gonna scroll down for me, please. Here, you also got Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber, Kevin Gastelum versus Ian Hesh, Pedro Munoz. Sorry, I'm just butchering everybody's name. Jimmy Rivera, and then some other fights as well too. So, but this is big time welterweight matchup. I kind of would have wished they would have put another title fight on this one just to get more buzz here, because I think this main event is going to be good. It's 2 world class fighters, but that supporting card just isn't really there for me and for the general public as well.
We've always talked about when it comes to pay-per-view is the stackness there for me to. I mean, keep in mind it's $70. This is what I keep trying to tell like UFC. Come on, bro. Like, I think some fights, if you stack the titles, I understand charging premium at $70.
Yeah.
Look, Usman, incredible fighter. Gilbert Burns, incredible fighter. There's a lot of that's a matchup a lot of people want to see, but come on, $70, bro.
Yeah,
$40, I'll watch it.
Yeah, you gotta think about $40. We'll start talking, right? Because essentially, like, do you want to pay, like, how do you want to break it down the pay-per-view? Like, $15 for Kevin Gastelum? $20 for Alexa Grasal and Macy?
I love Kevin Gastelum.
You have to break it down that way, right?
But he's on it. He has a lot of gap between him and the title now.
Yeah, he does.
A lot of gap. Same thing with our girl Alexa Grasal. Yeah, she's a name fighter. Yeah, she's a very entertaining fighter. But there's a gap between her and being in the championship too.
Yeah.
There's just too much. There's not enough meat. There's not, the stickness isn't there for a pay-per-view. Like, if this was a UFC Fight Night, it would do amazing numbers. For pay-per-view, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it being a successful pay-per-view.
I almost wonder
the fights might be good, but I don't think it's worth $70.
What's stopping them from going to, hey, ABC, we have this title fight we want to show for you on ABC. Like, hey, can we do that? Like, are you kidding me? Like a world championship bout, like on free television? Like, wouldn't Kamal Usman like die for that? Because how many people will just stumble across it on free television? The advertising alone. And then, like, it's funny. You haven't really heard Dana White say anything about the free streaming, right?
Yeah.
It's only when Conor McGregor's fighting that, hey, I'm coming after you, legal streamers. Here, Gilbert Burns.
Because he knew everybody was going to try to buy it.
Yeah, but this one, maybe the more people who watch it, the better.
So a lot of stuff happened, I guess, in this event too.
Yeah.
Remember, at one point, Chris Wyman was supposed to face Uriah Hall.
Yeah,
that would have given it a little bit more stagnant,
still
just because
$60, $70.
Yeah, but it's still not 70. But I mean, you really had to put like somebody else in there that was either like title contending, or actual championship, because like I don't see I don't see. And keep in mind, I am a huge Gilbert Burns fan. I love Gilbert Burns is probably in my top 10 of fighters right now. Because that guy is action packed. Usman is a killer, but I'm not a fan. Maybe more because of his manager. I don't know. But I'm not an Usman fan at all. I would never pay $70 to see Usman. And with that said, the guy's a killer.
So real quick, we've got 90 seconds left here. What do you got? Actually, go real quick. Alexa Grasal, what's her what's she been up to? I think she like win loss, right?
Yeah, that's why she's farming. She lost to Carla Esparza back in 2019. And then she got a win over Ji Yeon Kim. Which was in August of 2020. But prior to that, it's a loss to Felicia, win over win, loss,
what
win,
about
loss, win.
Macy? Her Macy Barber, her opponent.
Let's see here. Macy Barber, her opponent. Bring that up real quick. It's coming off a loss against Roxanna.
Okay, and they're ranked what? I can't see from here.
You got Macy ranked number 10, I believe, and then Alexa ranked number 15.
Oh wow. Okay.
And keep in mind, I think even though I think people recognize Alexa more, Macy was technically supposed to be the next golden child of this division, and the women's MMA in general. If you don't remember, leading up to that Roxanna fight, she was a heavy favorite, and she was supposed to demolish her, and it did not turn out that way. And Roxanna played the spoiler, and she didn't get that big push she wanted. That's what I'm saying. This isn't a pay-per-view card, but these girls have gaps between them and the championship. Macy probably could have been there, but she got derailed.
Kevin Gastelum, real quick.
Our boy Kevin Gastelum. It pains me to say that he's not in title contention. It just pains me. And he's coming off 3 losses, 3 big losses. I mean, sure, Izzy is nothing to be sad about, but then you got Darren Till, and then I mean, these guys are all big names and really good fighters, but
when he kept losing the big names, what does that mean?
He's not in title contention. So again, and I love Kevin Gastelum. Man.
So it really is a top heavy fight card here. Kamal Usman, Gilbert Burns. We'll have our picks for the main card leading up to the fight, so make sure to you keep up to date with us on social media. Again, this card is happening next Saturday the 13th. What's supposed to be Valentine's Day weekend, but I was going to Albert said earlier, it's for the kids. This is a genius ploy, by the way. I love it. That's it for this week's show. Thank you everybody for listening. We got a little long here when it comes to professional wrestling, but we knew it was going to happen here. But thank you all. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe, like, comment on our YouTube page, turn on notifications so you keep up to date with us. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All three of those, you can find us a username at FiveRoundMMA. It's FIVE Round MMA. You can hear this podcast on any podcast platform you like, you partake in, whichever you want to have. We are available on all those streaming services here. Again, keep an eye out for that Twitch announcement. So we'll announce that. We'll have some live watch along, some giveaways as well too. So keep an eye out for that when we announce we've been going live on Twitch. Some fun stuff here in the very near future for 5 Round MMA. Albert, what do you got before we leave?
Alex, have you ever tried Modern Times?
Modern
The
Times?
beer?
No.
Oh my God, she just pissed me off.
Oh, you're a snob, right?
Yeah. I told you I was a beer snob.
Is it
now
similar?
not only am I annoyed now,
Yeah.
I feel like you have to have Modern Times on the next show.
Is it similar to like Coors or?
Oh my goodness!
It's comparable to the Banquet.
Are you working me right now?
It's comparable to the Banquet.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks for tuning in.